of my sons, he did a plant ceremony some years ago. And he wrote, during the ceremony, he wrote me an email afterwards, and he told me that during the ceremony, under the influence of this plant, he got in touch with the deepest pain that he ever had, and it went right back to the uterus, went right back to the womb. So he was already experiencing and absorbing the pain of my wife, his mother, in the womb. And he's been carrying it all his life. But why was the mother experiencing pain? Because she didn't have the support that she needed. Because she had a husband who was actually hostile, and that was me. So it's completely true that children mostly experience the mother. The mother is the world. The mother is the world in which the seed of the child is planted and then develops. So mothers in this society experience a lot of tremendous guilt when they see their kids struggling, even though the children say, "This is my pain for me to deal with." It's true, but much of that pain came through the mother. But the question is that the mother's fault? No, it's not. Let me tell you about a Swedish study. There's a Swedish, in my new book, The Myth of Normal, I talk about this. They did a study in Sweden. If the mother had a depression while she was carrying the baby, the chance of a premature birth increased. A late premature birth, 32 weeks to 36 weeks. If the father was depressed when the mother was pregnant, the chance of an early premature birth increased from 24 to 28 weeks, 30 weeks. In other words, the father's depression had a bigger effect on the premature birth than the mother's. Now, how do we explain that? Doesn't seem to make any sense. Unless we understand the position of women in this society, which is in this society, women are expected to and commanded to and programmed to absorb all the pain of their environment and to make it their responsibility. And then so the women carry the pain of the... That's why women have 80% of autoimmune disease, by the way, because they carry the pain for everybody. Through them, the children get the pain, so it comes through the mother. But is it the mother's fault? You see, the way that mothers are having to function in this society is not the way nature intended it. How nature intended it is how we evolved as human beings. And how we evolved was not in Berlin or Vancouver, British Columbia. We evolved in nature, in small groups, hunter-gatherers, 60, 80 people at a time, where the children were surrounded by the adults the whole day, where the babies were carried everywhere. Mothers were not told to put the baby down and let it cry. Babies were not allowed to cry. They were carried everywhere. As soon as they cried, they were picked up. There were other mothers around to help the mother. Mother wasn't isolated. The whole family, the whole community. So what I'm saying is, well, how are we living right now? And this is the subject of my next book, The Myth of Normal, which will be published in Germany in March, in next spring, I think, is that the way we're living is completely unnatural. So that the pressure on women is completely unnatural. So the guilt that you carry is not personal. It's just how this culture, how this society functions. Now, is it true that the pain to the child comes through mostly to the mother? Yes, it is. Is that the mother's fault? It's got nothing to do with fault. That's the first point. You understand what I'm saying? The second point I'm saying is, if I asked you, when in your life did you not feel guilty, when would you say?
Never.
That's what I mean. Your guilt has nothing to do with your children. What morning did you wake up and say, today my job is to screw up my kids? When did you make that decision?
Also never.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't pick them up when they were crying and breastfed them.
Yeah, so you never made that decision. The guilt that you have is not because you couldn't make your children happy. Do you know why you have your guilt? Because you couldn't make your parents happy, could you?
Never.
No. So as a child, you take on the guilt of not making your parents. That's how children are. They think it's all their fault. Your children's pain is not the source of your guilt. The source of your guilt is when you were small, you were given a job that was impossible, which is to make your parents happy. That's where the guilt comes along. Now you transfer it to your kids. I suggest you stop doing it. It's got nothing to do with them. And it's got nothing to do with you personally either.